Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's J-Man. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm J-Man.
And I'm number one fan, Tim.
I'm going to alt-tab. I'm going to alt-tab again. And it's not going to... Fuck off. Where the fuck's my internet? God damn it. Fucking math.
This
Okay.
Windows 10?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
I do. So something happened at a comedy show / fundraiser thingy at Columbia University.
Oh, okay.
And a former SNL writer was kicked off of stage for, quote, inappropriate jokes.
Is it because she's trying to make jokes at all? Because Saturday Night Live hasn't been funny in like 15 years.
That's a guy. Nimesh Patel is a guy.
Whatever.
But, so it was the Culture Shock Reclaim event at Columbia University. He was kicked off stage by student organizers 30 minutes into a set for jokes that were deemed homophobic and racist.
It's a comedy set.
Exactly, but these are clearly today's college kids that are fucking pussy snowflakes, and anything you say, I could go. The last story I told in the previous episode, and I mentioned there was a black guy, someone would say, why does his race matter? And I would say, because I can't just say person 1, person 2, person 3, and person 4. There's imagery in my head. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, if you tell a story, it's easier just to refer to people by, sorry to say, skin color.
Okay, so Columbia's Asian American Alliance invited Patel to perform at the annual charity showcase, which aims to provide a platform for Asian American artistic expression and to break through harmful stereotypes.
Harmful stereotypes?
Right. According to Columbia Daily Spectator, it must be some sort of college newspaper for future douchebags that are going to work for fucking liberal
CNN.
media outlets. Patel's performance featured commentary on his experience living in a diverse area of New York City, including a joke about a gay black man in his neighborhood, which Asian American Alliance officials deemed inappropriate.
A.
Yeah.
Ah.
So the comedian, he said that being gay cannot be a choice because no one looks in the mirror and thinks, this black thing's too easy. Let me just add another thing to it. So they immediately bum-rushed the stage and interrupted his performance and denounced his material about racial identities and sexual orientation. They gave him a few moments for closing remarks, but he pushed back, saying that none of his jokes were offensive, and he purportedly claimed that he was simply exposing the audience to ideas that would be found in, quote, the real world. His microphone was then cut from off stage, and he exited.
I almost feel bad for the guy now.
Well, it says that the Asian American Alliance defended its decision to give Patel the boot, and his remarks ran counter to the inclusive spirit and integrity of Culture Shock, and as such, the choice was made to invite him to leave.
Oh my fucking God. These people,
The group wrote on Facebook, we acknowledge that discomfort and safety can coexist. However, the discomfort that Patel caused was unproductive in this space.
It's a fucking comedy show!
And they added, we deeply apologize for inviting him in the first place. Audience members were reportedly split over AAA's decision to remove Patel.
This generation's in college right now. Holy fucking shit. I had something I was going to say, but I forgot what it was because I wouldn't fucking rage.
Yeah, you got pretty hot there for a second. Trigger tripped. Do you get what he's trying to say?
Yeah, I get what he's trying to say. I get the comedy. And actually, that sounds like it's funnier than anything I've seen on Saturday Night Live the last 15 years, which I don't watch it anymore.
Well, then how do you know?
I just know. Okay, you see bits and clips. Okay, I don't sit down and watch the whole show. I see bits and clips. Like, this is one of the skits from the show. It's like, that's fucking terrible. And there's another one. That was fucking terrible. I'm not even watching it. It's like watching little clips from, what's that show with the nerds?
The Big Bang Theory?
Big Bang Theory.
Terrible show.
Terrible show. Terrible show. But I did watch a clip one day that I thought was funny because I'm a gamer, game console. Uh-huh. And what the one dude, I guess he's the main character, Sheldon?
Yeah.
He was talking about PS3 and PS4 and PS1 and Xbox and Xbox 360 and Xbox One, and he's going into the comparison. I actually thought that was a funny bit, but it wasn't like knee slapping funny.
Right.
But it was good enough to write, okay, that's one spot of the show that I could like. Otherwise, I think they overplay the stereotypes of nerds.
Well, this ties into why Jerry Seinfeld says he will no longer play colleges. Because the kids are too sensitive. It's supposed to be a liberal haven.
It's supposed to be, a college is supposed to be an open forum for opposing views and discussions and shit like that. And the very second you say something they don't fucking like, no, game over, shut down, and it's get out of here. I don't want to hear your opposing views. My views are the only ones that matter.
Yeah, that's...
Fucking goddamn it.
That's why I like Louder with Crowder. Where he'll he'll set up a table like, rape culture doesn't exist. Change my mind.
I love those. Those are great.
Aren't they?
Because every fucking liberal that gets on there, just almost everyone. There's a couple that he's had decent discussions with, but they just almost, it's like their heads are going to explode.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there calm.
Now,
drinking.
Yeah. As somebody who likes to make jokes that are risque, I know that, and I'm quoting somebody who once said this to me on the chat board or the comment section of theprp.com. It's where I go to get my hard rock and heavy metal news.
Okay.
Somebody goes, good comedy is dangerous. It makes you think outside of your comfort zone. Right?
Yeah, it does.
And now I'm gonna bookend that with a quote that I heard from a college professor in a fucking Yahoo News story 2 years ago. I don't even remember what it was about. It was something happened on a college campus, right? So he was commenting about how sensitive these fucking kids are these days. And how you can't have different ideas than anybody. They all want everyone to think the same. But if everybody thinks the same, how do we ever grow? How do we ever achieve? If you don't think outside the box and you just fall in line, well, then nothing new or exciting is going to happen. It's just going to be, well, whatever happens, happens, instead of striving for anything. Those are my words. His words were, the best way to get through to people, as an educator, in my opinion, is to challenge them. You go against their preconceived notions. You go against their widely held beliefs. You state counter opinions, and then you discuss it to broaden their scope of understanding of the human experience. That's brilliant.
That sounds like a good teacher. I've had teachers that have actually done stuff very similar to that.
I'm going to cite for you an example of when a teacher did that, and when it, by today's standards, he should have been drawn and quartered. An English teacher of mine, when I was in like 11th grade, we had a Polish exchange student. Her name was Magda. She told us a story once of when thieves came in the night and were shooting guns at their house that was in a rural area. So to escape the danger, they ran with blankets around them out in the dark into the forest with no lights because they were scared of what would happen. That's her reality in Poland. So I don't even, I don't even know what the setup to his comment was. But they're talking back at his desk during like a writing exercise when we're all quiet. And I hear him say, well, I mean, there's no proof that the Holocaust happened. And I went, what the fuck? She's from fucking Poland. Holy shit. She's probably got dead relatives from the Holocaust. But then he's like, totally right. The Nazis destroyed so much physical evidence of what they did with the final solution in the death camps that it was hard to prove what did and didn't happen. People knew what happened.
People knew what happened. There was photographic evidence, but people say that was all staged. So
what the fuck? 6 million people just took a permanent vacation? Where'd they go?
Mm-hmm.
Through a portal door in the outer limits? Where the fuck are they?
I mean, in my opinion, it's undeniable that it happened, but you got those people out there that say it didn't happen. It's just like, whatever.
So you see what I'm saying about challenging people's ideas?
Yeah. He probably knew full well that happened, but he was just her, discussing it. Like,
her specifically, what do you mean? Holy shit. Now, can you see what I'm saying about today? He would be drawn and quartered?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he would have been fired. He would have been fucking fired.
That was in, like, 98.
There was a teacher a few weeks ago, a couple days ago, I was seeing a news line for, but I didn't read it. He didn't use the proper pronoun for a girl that thought she was a guy.
Uh-huh.
And they fired him.
What?
Yeah.
For a fucking misnomer with
called
a pronoun?
her miss, and she's like, I'm not a miss, I'm a mister. And I guess he ended up losing his job or some shit. Like I said, I just very briefly read the headline.
That's insane.
If I snag it again, I will read it and I will send it to you.
Oh, I will fucking Google it right now while we've got a moment. Jesus Christ.
We have 4 minutes and 10 seconds.
Oh my God. Knock it off. uses wrong. I put crong. Let's get rid of that Q. Oh, I just wasted 5 seconds. Pronoun loses job. This is a day ago. Refusing to use transgender students' pronouns. Okay, so this wasn't an accident.
Here we go again.
He refused to use a transgender student's new pronouns, has been fired for insubordination. Okay, yeah, well, you just there goes my worry for him.
I'm sorry, but
it's a game.
Did she have her her plumbing rewired?
That doesn't matter by today's standards of children.
See, it should fucking matter. Because if these liberals are all about the science of climate change, well, science says there's 2 genders, male and female, and you're born one. You know, I can't sit here and tell you to call me Mrs.
That
Mrs.
came up last night, by the way, on
fan.
Blumpkin and Friends.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, I can't do that. And it's like if I said you need to start calling me Mrs. Leonard, oh, fine. Sorry. If I told you needed to call me Mrs. Number One Fan, I totally could not get mad at you for not doing it because you fucking know better. That shit is wrong. He shouldn't have lost his job. If anything, issue an apology. Oh, I'm sorry I didn't call you sir instead of miss, but whatever.
Well, let's read this story. A Virginia high school teacher who refused to use a transgender student's new pronouns has been fired. And news outlets report that the West Point School Board voted unanimously Thursday to dismiss him after a 4-hour hearing that drew an overflow crowd. The school system said in a statement that he was fired for insubordination. Over the summer, the 9th grade student's family informed the school system of the student's gender transition to male, and the student wasn't involved in Thursday's hearing. That's the whole fucking story. No, it's not. It's not suggested that the 47-year-old French teacher deliberately referred to the student using female pronouns in the student's presence, but in conversations with others. Fuck you. Witnesses describe a slip-up when the student was about to run into a wall and the teacher told others to stop her. When discussing the incident with administrators, he made it clear he would not use male pronouns, a stance that led to his suspension for disciplinary action. I can't think of a worse way to treat a child than what was happening, said the principal, who testified that he told him to use male pronouns in accordance with the student's wishes. I can think of a lot of worse stuff that's happened, and a lot of it's happened via the Elk River hockey program, where people had mop handles stuck up their buttholes.
Yeah.
Would you say that's worse than being called a he or a her?
Yeah.
When you're a she or a he? Or I don't know.
Okay, a slip up,
Teacher
whatever.
fucks your mouth.
He's going to run into a wall, trying to stop her from hitting the wall. I'm going to use it. And he gets fired from the fucking job? There's only one person there, so it's it.
I'm confused also, and I think it's fucking stupid that these goddamn kids are holding our entire fucking culture hostage and that people are in fear of looking insensitive, so they go on these fucking grandiose tangents of discipline to individuals that really should be like, come on, let's talk about this. And they're just like, how dare you? And here's more hyperbolic horse shit where he talks about, I can't think of a worse thing you can do to a student. Yeah, you can. You can fail him for having a retarded haircut. That's probably worse. Or, I don't know, you could fuck their mom and then tell them about it via the internet on their Facebook page so that all their friends know you fucked their mom.
Extra credit.
He had sex with my mama!
You could expel them after they were falsely accused of rape, like at Duke Lacrosse.
Yeah.
There's much worse fucking things to do than a teacher either accidentally or intentionally saying stop her when he should have probably said stop him, which, unless the chick had her plumbing redone and everything like that, I'm sorry. If it looks like a girl, if it walks like a girl, if it menstruates like a girl, it's a girl.
Well, that's the thing is, are you supposed to be like, hey, you? And then like 9 people turn, but the one person that should look at you fucking runs into a wall.
You know, it's like, hey, Bob, you know, it's...
This just goes back to Riley Dennis, who used to be Justin Dennis, who now is, like, I told you about this guy before. He's a YouTuber and vlogger who rants at an insane rate of speech that indicates he's clearly reading a script. I'm sorry, that she clearly indicates is reading a script. And this is not the first try at this. Like, who once in a video, misgendering a trans person is an act of violence. You know, that fucking insane bullshit that they spout about. And you try to tell them, no, that's not an act of violence. That was actually the subject of a segment of an episode of Louder with Crowder. and a girl who considered herself gender nonconforming said it is absolutely an act of violence. And I encourage you to search that one out because he fucking nails her to the wall with logic. Like, right, but that's not what an assault is. It is too an assault. No, assault indicates that there was physical violence. You were assaulted. Someone physically put their hands on you. What? But misgendering somebody, that's an act of violence. Well, no, it's an act of disrespect. And she just would not fucking stop with this.
No, because
they would not fucking stop with
this. Because a lot of the kids today get put in their heads that they're right. You know, their parents never said no to them. You know, and get into that whole misidentifying gender thing. It actually happened to me several months ago. Was it several months ago? I was at my kid's school, and I was on the playground with Drama, and a couple of her friends were there. And I was teaching them to play Foursquare, if you remember that game. And one of her friends...
I do.
Short hair.
Yeah.
You know, they're not blossoming yet. You know, these are elementary kids, so there's not, like, changes in their bodies. Short hair, green. All kids sound alike at that age, honestly, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, dude, grab that ball. She's like, I'm not a dude. I'm like, what? She's like, I'm a girl. I'm like, oh, sorry. You know, short hair. She's like, it's okay.
You should have just said dudette.
Roll
with it.
I just said, oh, sorry. Just short hair threw me off, you know? And the rest of the time, it's just like, am I going to get sued? Like, am I going to get an angry call from a fucking parent tonight?
That's terrible you had to worry about that.
It was only for about 2 seconds.
It's also unfortunate that story wasn't actually that you brought home a magazine and you were kneeling on the edge of the bed masturbating to it so you could come on a towel and relieve your stress, but then you found out when you were about to climax, oh, wait, that's a chick because you were starting to read the article or the captions next to the picture of said questionable person.
That's terrible.
I know that was a lot of words just to make a roundabout joke again about you kneeling
terrible.
on the edge of the bed and
Especially
masturbating.
on those subjects when I'm talking about an elementary school kid.
I'm not saying you're masturbating to kids. I'm saying you're masturbating to a magazine.
But you did it right on the tail end of it.
But it's not like a highlights magazine.
Whatever. It's
probably like a Cosmo.
No, if anything, it's Fredericks of Hollywood.
Or a Vogue.
I never saw a Vogue.
Okay, well, don't you hate it when you see what you think is a sexy chick, but it's just some guy makeup model?
No.
Then you're like, well, I'm already halfway there, so you're a pretty lady.
No, it's like Jerry Springer Sale, male or female, and they had all those beautiful women on the stage, and you had to guess which ones were male, which ones weren't. I only got one wrong.
Well, good for you.
Yeah.
So one day when your wife divorces you and you're scared to date, you can go to prostitutes and hopefully you don't get one that's got a wee-wee. But hey, he's a girl now, and that's a female penis, so don't you dare be telling him that there's anything wrong with him wanting you to suck on his female penis.
Okay, whatever.
And there's nothing gay about fucking him in his female ass while his female penis slaps your ball bag as you're doing it from behind.
No. Get that image out of my head. Holy shit.
God damn snowflake piece of shit kids.
It's terrible. It's fucked up, you know? I mean, these kids are just in for a world of hurt. Either that or this is where society's finally going to fall apart.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already pretty bad right now, but when these kids, these people get into the workforce, into the real world, they're in for a world of hurt. Because I don't think there's going to be a lot of corporations out there, a lot of businesses or supervisors, they're going to put up with that shit.
Oh, the ACLU is going to tear those supervisors apart.
There's going to be so many... But that's just it. When there's 5,000 lawsuits, you can't possibly go and sue them all.
That is true. I miss the days when jokes were easier to make. I also miss the days when we could hate each other for easily distinguishable things. Not like what's going on underneath your blouse or your knickers, but, you know, like you're a different religion and it's fun to make fun of how cheap you are stereotypically. Or, you know, we make fun of your haircut because it makes you look like a lady and everybody would just say, nice gay haircut. Not okay to say, really, but I mean, they were much easier times.
You know, I was listening to Louis C.K. earlier today, and he's just like, sometimes I use faggot, but I won't like call a faggot. I'll just like,
I would never say it to a gay guy. Like if I ever came across two homosexual gentlemen that were kissing each other on their respective panagia.
He's like, if I came across two guys that were blowing each other, which I don't know why I'd be watching, but, you know, I wouldn't be like, quit being a bunch of faggots.
Now, if one of them stopped sucking that dick and turned to me and went, people from Phoenix, they're called Phoenicians, I'd be like, shut up, faggot. I know the routine.
It was funny.
So, once again, a comic kicked off stage at a college full of fucking snowflakes because they can't handle something that wasn't even an offensive joke just because he brought up an idea. We're
Comedy
all
is
just...
supposed to be an escape.
Well, thankfully, in like 500 years, we're all just going to be the same shade of brown anyway and wearing like gray cloaks and kneeling before a one-world government.
Yeah, maybe.
While we're on the edge of the bed.
Thank God I'll be
Looking
dead.
at that magazine. Jacking off onto a towel so we don't get cum on the comforter.
Taking it a bit too far.
Interact with the show on Twitter at What Do We Call It. That is at What Do We Call It. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/What Do We Call It podcast show. For the What Do We Call It podcast, I'm J-Man.
And I'm number one fan Tim.
And that's the end.